Okay.
Would you rather incorporate an accordion into the band or incorporate a melodica into the band?
Okay, I have an accordion. It's on my list of things to learn how to play.
Okay.
So that by far, absolutely.
Good
I
choice.
feel like anybody can like squeeze it and maybe do a little bit of the keyboard, but it's the buttons. That's what like whenever you see an accordion like in a rock band, nobody's hitting the buttons. Like that's where the skill is, and that's I don't even know what they fucking do. So yeah, that's next on the list. Like
Well,
I'll put the
that's
banjo away and get the accordion out.
I think it's a good decision. I need to know if Daniel Radcliffe, since we were talking about Harry Potter and he's playing Weird Al in the upcoming film, is he going to actually learn
What?
to play the accordion? Oh yeah, is this breaking news?
Okay, dude, Back to the Future escape room, Daniel Radcliffe fucking playing Weird Al. I feel like I've been in a coma. Like, what is all this stuff that I
Good
don't
morning.
know?
I know.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right. Next one, Milo.
All right. Would you rather own a guitar that belonged to Prince or own a guitar that belonged to Eddie Van Halen? Speaking of Back to the Future.
Ugh.
Okay, this will also be controversial, but I wasn't really raised on Van Halen. Like I appreciate them, and I went through a phase, when I was, listening to a lot of like 80s and 90s hard rock stuff. But I mean, I grew up on Michael Keaton playing Batman, and that fucking soundtrack, Prince
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bat dance? Is that what we're going? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That scene where Jack Nicholson walks through the restaurant and just like paints all over everything to that song. Oh my God. Like,
yeah,
one of the best scenes in cinema history. Love it.
So I'm the type of person, like if I see something, I need to know everything. So last night I was reading
Oh, yeah.
about Marlon Wayans, who was supposed to play Robin had they made a third Michael Keaton, Tim Burton Batman together.
Shut up, really?
I know.
It was gonna be a Wayans brother?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and he still gets residuals from the film because in his contract, even though he didn't shoot it, he still signed the contract, still gets paid.
Goddamn right.
Living
Love
the
it.
dream. All right. So you pick Prince then. Prince is a good choice.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Not controversial at all. All right.
Yeah.
Here's the next one. This one's a little okay. Would you rather have to eat ghost pepper tacos before a performance or eat level 10 spice Indian food before you play?
This is triggering some memories.
Oh no. Okay.
I love both. I don't really have to sing much, so it would probably be the tacos. I feel like that wouldn't incapacitate me in a way that would keep me from performing, whereas
Say
the
no
Indian
more.
food might. I do love Indian food, especially whenever we go to England. I eat it like 5 times a week. There's just so much good Indian food there. And I'm like super susceptible to spice too, but I love it. It's kind of masochistic. Like everybody that, that's close to me knows, like, as soon as I have something that's spicy, like my face is just fucking sweating. It's that scene out of Along Came Polly when Ben Stiller goes to, I don't know if it's Indian food or Ethiopian food. It's a restaurant where he's eating with his hands on a date and he's just like sweating profusely. And that's me every time I have one bite of anything spicy. But I love it so much. I will say we were, speaking of the UK, we were playing a couple nights in London and everybody had food poisoning from eating Mexican food in England.
Oh no.
Oh
God.
And some of the crew like couldn't function. They couldn't leave their rooms. They needed to be close to the bathroom. But I mean, that's part of my job is I can't call in sick. So like I had to show up. I think I sat down for a lot of the song. A lot of the set. I sat on the drum riser and played, but I definitely like barfed between every single song. So the eating spicy tacos for a performance was a bit triggering, but
sorry.
But I think No. I think if it's just spice, I think the tacos. I think that would just like make my mouth out of commission. I think I could function otherwise.
Okay. And if you're not sweating when you're eating spicy food, are you doing it right, guys? Come on.
I know.
No.
I mean, okay. I'm sure all of that was TMI, but fuck it. Now you know.
Fuck it. Fuck it. All right.
All right.
Next one, Milo.
Moving
Fuck
on
it.
to a better subject. Would you rather
Okay.
have Beethoven as a pet or have
shouldn't-
Milo from Mask?
From The Mask? Oh man. Well, Beethoven can carry my whiskey. But I mean, Milo kind of reminds me of Dexter, honestly. And even the way he acts. Milo looks like he's got some Jack Russell in him, maybe.
I think it's
Dexter's just he's just a whole mess of terrier. So I think just because he reminds me of my guy, I think I'd have to say Milo. Sorry,
choice.
Beethoven.
Sorry, it's
Yeah.
okay. He's not offended. He's just fine. It's just fine. All right.
I did love Beethoven, but the dog I grew up with more than Beethoven was Bingo. Remember that name or that movie?
Yep.
Bingo. Was his name
That was a good one. Yep. They made a movie about him.
Oh, popular guy. All right. Had
Yeah.
a song and everything. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather perform with the first band you ever saw live or perform with the first band whose CD you bought?
Well, the first band I ever saw live was the Nixons, who was a popular band from Oklahoma back in the 90s. And they played, I say recently, this was probably like 3 years ago now, up in Kentucky. It was the Nixons and Sponge. Those were the first two bands I saw live ever.
We had Sponge on
And-
here. That's great.
Shut up! Oh, I love them.
No,
that was
they
the
need to
first.
rest
I crowd surfed for the first time to "Plowed" by Sponge back in 8th grade. But anyway, so I've gotten close with Zach Malloy from the Nixons, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, like, I can't not go to this. Like the first two bands I ever saw live, I got to go to. So I drove up to Kentucky. I drank some bourbon and I went and saw a show. And I got to go on stage with the first band I ever saw live and play with them. So I got to check that one off the list. But I gotta say, sorry, buddy. The first CD I ever bought was Pearl Jam Versus. So I definitely have to say that one because I haven't gotten to do that yet. I will never get to play with Pearl Jam, but like that'd be insane.
Yeah, agreed. Great first album too.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I got that because I got it. CDs were a thing long before I ever got a CD player. I was hanging on to my cassettes for a while. Like I had the Walkman on my paper route, like riding my bike, listening to all my tapes. But man, so yeah, when I bought a CD player, like I had to join Columbia House. Remember Columbia House?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
for like 1
They're like-
cent. Yeah.
Yeah,
For a
12
penny,
CDs
for a
1
penny,
cent.
you get 12 CDs. Yeah. So yeah, it was Pearl Jam Versus, the Metallica Black album, Siamese Dream, like all the good shit. Core, all that shit.
So since you mentioned Siamese Dream, another fun fact, if you know, Billy Corgan owns a wrestling promotion, NWA, which is based in Atlanta.
I think I did know this.
Mhm.
What an interesting guy.
Right? For real.
What a fucking interesting guy. Yeah.
Love it. All right. So we have 2 more of these, and then if we can keep you for like another 10 minutes, is that okay, Nick? We just
Yeah.
okay. We
Yeah.
got 2 more of these, and then Milo has some. Go ahead,
All
Milo.
right, so let's say you have to do a cover album. Would you rather do an album of songs from the 60s or an album of songs from the 80s?
You can get your saxophone.
Oh, 80s. Yeah, 80s. I will learn the saxophone for this. Yeah, 80s by far. Like I was born in 82, so I lived through most of the 80s. I have a lot of memories from the 80s. And I mean, it's fucking timeless. I mean, the 60s are timeless too. I just feel like every 20 years, the 80s just comes back, and I don't think that'll ever change. Like I feel like when I started my band, the 80s were really big, like especially the more hard rock stuff, and now like the 80s are kind of back in more of the kind of like indie, more new wave kind of stuff. there's just the 80s. It's so deep, and there's so much to digest from that era. Music, fashion, all that stuff, like timeless.
Timeless.
Agreed.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's our final would you rather. Would you rather be Muppets in a music video? So all of y'all are featured as Muppets, or would you rather be in a music video where you're animated in a Rick and Morty style?
I've never seen Rick and Morty.
Okay, so we can change it. Rocco's Modern Life. I don't know what you
Oh shit.
dealer's pick.
I mean, Muppets all the way. I mean, I've got them tattooed on my arm, so like,
Oh,
yeah, that's there forever. Yeah,
that it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Muppet?
I mean, I love Dr. Teeth. I mean, Animal's a blast. I like Fozzie. I mean, I feel like we have the same sense of humor. But yeah, anybody in the Electric Mayhem, I'm down with. Janice is rad.
I feel like I look like Janice. Like if I close my eyes and smile, like I'm Janice,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
I'm Janice.
Can you say, just wait till I tell the guys in the band.
Just wait till I tell the guys in the band.
There it is.
Good. Not the best.
Verbatim.
I'm not an impressionist, but just run it back. But yeah.
Neither am I.
Awesome.